San Mateo County, that is, where the Board of Supervisors just wrapped up a dramatic meeting adopting a resolution of no confidence against the sheriff. It comes a day after the release of an independent report that called on Sheriff Christina Corpus to resign. So the report, compiled by former Judge Ladores Cordell, found a pattern abuse of power, intimidation, and retaliation in the sheriff's office. It also accused Corpus of having a personal relationship with her chief of staff, Victor Añez. So our Wilson Walker was at the meeting where the sheriff herself showed up. Was that unexpected, Wilson?
I believe it was, Juliet, and I'll start by saying that I have covered some city council meetings and some county supervisor meetings. I've never seen anything quite like what unfolded in here about an hour and a half ago. But before we get to that, you summed up the allegations against the sheriff here, and a real centerpiece of this whole the report itself is really the chief of staff, Mr. Añez. There's several points of contention here. One, that he's not qualified for the position that he has, that the sheriff took inappropriate measures to place him into that position and to increase his salary, any number of things. We could kind of go on and on and on, but this gentleman really a centerpiece of the complaints against the sheriff. And so when you keep him in mind as we go into what is about to happen here in the chambers. Now, what was the county commission, the county supervisors doing today? Well, they were, of course, going to make that no confidence vote. Let's take you inside the chambers now. They came in to make that no confidence vote. They took a little time. They did hear from members of the public who had things to say about this controversy. Some of them called for some sort of independent auditing of the sheriff's office so that either there are no future problems. Well, lo and behold, who shows up in the meeting there is the sheriff herself.
What has happened the last few days is disgusting. I will not allow the board to threaten me and attempt to fire my chief of staff without cause. This inquiry was politically motivated and one-sided. It was filled with lies. That is why, effective immediately, I'm appointing Dr. Victor Añez to the position of assistant sheriff. I am the sheriff of this county. I answer to the people of San Mateo County who elected me. I will not be bullied.
Sheriff Corpus, will you agree to sit for sworn testimony in front of Judge Cordell? Sheriff Corpus?
Mr. Mueller, when I have representation, legal representation, I will answer that question.
Okay, now the exchange you heard at the end there was Supervisor Ray Mueller asking her if she would talk to Ladores Cordell, and obviously a dispute over there about legal representation. Now, after the sheriff left, they kind of continued with the meeting, went on with that vote of no confidence. They also spoke about the report and the confidence that they had in the report itself. But obviously, this leaves us with a real standoff here. The sheriff has questioned whether the board really has any authority over this at all. They apparently do not. And so where is this going is the real question tonight, Juliet. The sheriff obviously not backing down. And the suggestion that she's going to promote the man at the middle of the scandal itself, I can tell you, her saying that kind of drew some gasps in the room. Mm-hmm. So yes, to answer your question, completely unexpected, and the raising of his name for a promotion, I can tell you, it felt like a real escalation of what is happening here in San Mateo County. And I tell you, that is going to bring a lot more attention here on whatever happens next.
Yeah, and if you just look at protocol in itself, he still has to be sworn in to be able to even have that position.
I think a lot of people sort of scratching their heads as to what's going on. Mm-hmm. There has been a decision made that the sheriff has been asked to sort of not come to the subsequent meetings. So again, I go back to the word of that, a kind of escalation here as the two sides appear to be digging in.
Wilson Walker. Wilson, thank you for that. And just before today's meeting, the San Mateo County Sheriff's Union spoke out. They said they are appalled over the contents of Judge Cordell's investigation and condemned Sheriff Corpus. They also called the recent arrest of a deputy, quote, whistleblower retaliation. Carlos Tapia was one of the deputies who has criticized the sheriff and her office.
Everyone's very tired. We're working a ton of overtime. And every time we as a union try and meet with our administration to improve working conditions, the administration refuses to meet with us. This has happened time and time again.
The sheriff's union requests the report be submitted to the California Attorney General and for the San Mateo District Attorney to investigate and prevent her from continuing to work in law enforcement.